about overages and their redemption period. So, what are overages? We'll get into that. However, the most important thing you need to know are what are the redemption periods for overages. Now, there's two types of redemption periods. Today, we're only going to talk about overages and what that means. But as you guys know, overages are a result from tax deed auctions, which basically this is how it happens. An overage is when you go to the auction, and if there is a minimum bid that starts at the auction at $10,000, normally that is what's owed to the county. And so most of the time, as you guys know, when you go to the auction, properties sell for more than the minimum bid. That's why they're going to the auction, so the county could hopefully get more money. And but that money that they get is actually owed to the owner. So, for example, if the minimum bid is $10,000, that's what they owe to the county plus all fees and everything. If the property sells for $100,000, then the total overage due is $90,000. Now, this is the trick. Most counties don't want the owners to know that they have this money owed to them. So there's one or two things that happen. They send that letter to the owner of the house that they lost, and or they don't produce the list and they don't give out the forms. So therefore, guess what happens? The county gets to keep all this money. But in every state, there is a law, especially tax deed states, that the owners have the right to collect this overage funds. And so if you're an investor like myself, you can help these individuals collect the overage. However, this video is about redemption periods, so there is a time limit on this. So when I was first getting started, I was like super excited about, oh my gosh, I found a list. Oh, I found $350,000 of overage. But what I did not know in the beginning was that there is a time limit. And the further the time limit, pretty much everyone has called on that list. So the name of this game is getting to the list before everyone else. And I do cover that in my course on how you can get a fresh list before anybody else does. And I also cover in my I was going to say cohort, but in my class, I do that in my cohort too. But in my class, I also show you all the details of what state and county you can collect these overages, and also to find out what the redemption period. Because remember, this video is about the redemption period. So what I want you to get from this video is two things. One, you have to find the list. Number two, you need to know when that list expires. So you'll find a whole bunch of lists, but you need to know when will that list expire. And then three, this is give or take, because some people want to do overages and some people want to do tax deeds. Some people want to do the both. But for the sake of this video, we're only talking about tax deed overages. So the tax deed redemption period for tax deeds is different than overages. And so let me just kind of go over why they're different. So in tax deeds, for example, if you see these yellow states, they're tax deed states, but they're redeemable deeds. In those states, most of the time they have what you call homestead. So what that means is the redemption period for them is going to be based on the homestead. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to talk about Texas. Texas redemption period is 6 months if there isn't a homestead. If there's a homestead, it's 2 years. So if you were to purchase a property in Texas and it's homesteaded, you have to wait 2 years in order to sell that property. If it's not homesteaded, you have 6 months. Now that's if you are doing tax deeds. Right now, I'm talking about tax deed overages, which means you're not going to the auction, you're not putting up any of your money, you're just calling clients and helping them get the money, and you get a cut and you give them a cut. Pretty simple. For example, Texas is 2 years, California is 1 year, Arkansas is 120 days. Florida, because it's a hybrid state, you see the blue states, those are where they have tax liens in tax deeds. So just depending on what county, so different counties will be a lien, and then some of the counties are tax deeds. I only deal with tax deeds. Why? Because I want the property immediately. And then once I get the property, I'll call the owner and help them get the money of the overage that I spent. So it's like a win-win situation. The only difference is I always tell my newbies, if you don't have a lot of money in investing in tax deeds, hey, do the overages, because you can make money doing that without investing any of your money, just your time. And then once you collect a certain amount of money, you can then go to the auction and acquire property. So for the sake of this video, what I wanted you to get is that all the red states, which are tax deed states, and the yellow states are also tax deed states, and the blue states are tax liens and tax deeds, just depending on the county. You can collect the overage of them. Now, a lot of people will ask me, can I do this in a tax lien state? No, you cannot. Why? Because most tax liens are attached to a percentage rate. There is no overage to collect on them. So just remember, if you're going to be doing overages, you are doing them on tax deeds. Now, I am going to cover a video sometime next week on there's 4 different type of overages that you collect. I personally like to do tax deeds because they're the largest. And then also too, I want to mention like Texas, you only could collect up to 10%. I pretty much do most of my overages in California and Florida. I've touched a little bit in Georgia, but Georgia's pretty tough. And plus the overage amounts aren't as large as the ones in California. But I mean, just really depends on what you want to make your first go round. I have had some students that looked into other states and nobody had touched it, and they made over $20,000, even though the overages were less. It was a county that was untapped, so they were able to collect on all the overages for every person in that county. So they pretty much racked up a nice sum of money. So just FYI, this video, once again, to recap, is about redemption periods, and there's an expiration date on an overage list. If this video was helpful, please like, please subscribe, or just leave a comment. I look forward to working with you or helping you in the near future.